So, Buddy Bios. So, one thing I'm seeing is there's a lot of rising, um, kind of like a, it's like a rising, it's like just kind of unsustained. You know, when something just keeps growing bigger and bigger, it's tension, right? It's this kind of tension that I see growing bigger and bigger. And I don't know, you don't know how sustainable it is. Whether it's like a tumor, a cancerous tumor, in your body, whether it's something growing in your brain. You just know that thing's not sustainable. And that's what I see with gender relations, man. Like gender relations are really bad. Yeah, there are, like co-ed social circles which die off after like late 20s, or sometimes they stay, stuck. Um, but for the most part, like the vast majority of them kind of die off after marriage and all that. But either way, there's this big kind of gender war, and it's kind of growing just very unhealthily. It seems like the men of the Gen X millennials versus the men of young millennials and Gen Z. Um, there's this just growing hatred. It seems like with the secular sphere, there's a growing just hatred, not hatred, but just a very almost like a bit like a hatred of women. They're co-patriots in this country. And on the women's side, it's the same equal hatred of the, like almost like a hatred of the men, their own brothers, and the brothers are hating kind of like their own sisters. Um, and it's just growing and growing. And I feel like the slope, even like it went from linear and it's going like to almost non-linear, x squared or something like that. Within the past 5 years, um, and and one part of me is like sad about it, like guys, back then, guys, I don't know about back then, but at least 20 years ago, guys and girls, you didn't really hate, you didn't have a hatred for the woman in your country too much in the US or UK or Australia. But it's like now, it's just this, like, there's like, I know that the black gender war started, what, like 2000, I think it's 2009, 2010, and then black women started like venturing off. I think that was kind of like a precursor to what was going to happen to the most of white, the white gender war, at least the third wave white gender war, um, in the middle 2010s, late 2010s. So yeah, it's I don't know what's gonna happen. Like you have like a group of a lot of guys that um, just hate women, and a lot of girls just hate the men. And I don't mean hatred like it's unjustified. I mean like justified hatred, justified kind of hatred. Um, yeah, it's like I don't know what's gonna happen because it's even within when I make a video. Well, let me first touch on yeah, let me first touch on this point. Even when I make a video and it has to do something with like women are doing this wrong or women are messing up here, like the views, I know I don't get much views, but the views just rise up much better than like other stuff than when I'm not like criticizing women. Just not even my channel, but just like the recent figures that pop up in the past 5 years, the ones that are criticizing women, the ones that are going hard on women, are blowing up. So there's a big demand for guys that just want women to be criticized, that, even if it's harshly. And I kind of applaud even to my non-black pill friends. Even they can get the appeal of Jordan Peterson, just because he has like a he's not mean. He's a nice, sensible guy. Um, and he gets the point across to the. I think he's the best at getting the point across to like to people that don't have this kind of um, sort of bitterness or hatred or woman, or they appeal to like even like one of my friends who's like I swear kind of like a simp. Even he can watch Jordan Peterson and kind and understand. But in the new world, I think he might be a little too nice, and that's why Andrew Tate is taking up that gap from Kevin Samuels, Fresh and Fit Kevin Samuels. Um, is like bringing this rise of checking really messed up new age modern women, and Andrew Tate's starting to get his part of demand in the gaps of the gap. Kevin Samuels left, so yeah, I think it's just gonna keep on rising. It's like this huge demand that just is building up more and more um, of just for a woman kind of started the gender war, but I think men are now fighting back. Um, and so it's on. It's like they started it, and then with full on movement, full on all of this woke, and full on rifles like cannons, and now we're bringing the cannons, and there's just so much demand on the men's side for leaders. Now Andrew Tate, I think, is making a more harsher version, because yeah, there's a Jordan Peterson, there's a nice guys, but we're gonna need like harsher people, because if you're not harsh with the kind of girls you're dealing with, these girls think they're on God mode. You have to be harsh just as much as them. Like almost, you have to feel like you're on the harsh just as much as them to not be mentally um, destroyed by them in any way. So the American gender war is, I think it's been on for about 2 years, 1 year, 2 years, and but like it's battle time right now. We're in the battles, and the Black gender war, like I said, it was probably like 10 years ago, and it was I think it was a precursor to all of this what's going on. Hispanic gender war isn't really on too much. Asian gender war has already been on for quite some time, since the 2000s, since the early 2000s, when they landed on the boat, off the boat or whatever. Um, but like the white gender war, that's just the secular, the overall majority of gender war, overall majority race in America. Yeah, I mean, I think they're kind of aligning with what the blacks have been dealing with for a while. So it's like this huge gender war, man. And like I said, it's on. It's just battling outside, and there's this huge demand for soldiers and leaders on the men's side. So it's sad, and it is what it is. Overall, the main result of this is depopulation of Americans. I mean, not depopulation, but they're not going to create their replacements for modern white Americans, mostly modern Americans in general, but more so modern white Americans. Yeah, it's sad overall, but yeah.